Marx wrote famously about a period of despotism. There will be a period of despotism, but so be it. It's a violent ideology. There is no end stage. I mean, we could blow ourselves off the planet. I guess that's an end stage. You'll notice that when it comes to our principles and governing system, we don't talk about an end stage. We talk about the here and now, right? We talk about improving life, improving the status of it. Yeah, but there's no end stage where all of a sudden everybody's this or everybody's that. Now, you know why I believe there's never enough or has not been discussion about power. How can you talk about liberty without talking about power? How can you talk about rights, unalienable rights, without talking about power? They are ambiguous, otherwise. They're non-existent, otherwise. It's one thing to embrace, as I do, the idea of liberty, the idea of unalienable rights. It's one thing to write about them and speak about them, as I do and others do, because they're crucially important. But the earthly manifestation, the earthly application of liberty and rights is the issue. The beginning point is the belief, right? Is the value that liberty and rights, virtue, little d democracy or little r republicanism, constitutionalism, that these are crucial, right, to a civil society. And we can make that argument over and over again. I have made it. Others have made it. But where we have fallen down, and where I intend to help lift us up, is, as I said, the earthly application of these ideas, of these natural rights, of these views that are in natural law, these eternal truths. The application of them is what's crucial. And so your Constitution is all about not liberty, not about rights, but power for the application of liberty and rights. Your entire Constitution is about power, separation of power. Marxism is completely about power, the centralization of power, and then the phony argument about the state withering away. Of course, the state never withers away. And I go through in this book why Marxism is not only defective, but completely flawed and inhumane from the very beginning. How it makes no sense. How it never made any sense. You want a little taste of that? Running out of time, let me give you a footnote on that. Marxism talks about the final stage being the withering away of the state, right? Where the proletariat, the people have risen up, they've thrown off hundreds, if not thousands of years of labor enslavement, of the misapplication of material, and all the rest. And finally, we've reached a point where we have this equality. This equality, which of course is an impossibility, but nonetheless, this equality. That's the end stage. Now, what's the problem with that? There is no end stage in humanity. There is no end stage. Not from some man-made ideology. Man continues to evolve or devolve. But man doesn't stand still. There's this constant motion. So how do you write this ideology, sitting at your desk, if you will, that this is the final stage of humanity? If only everybody would paint by the numbers, do what I say, eliminate the excesses, eliminate the barriers, and that includes people. Marx wrote famously about a period of despotism. There will be a period of despotism, but so be it. It's a violent ideology. There is no end stage. I mean, we could blow ourselves off the planet. I guess that's an end stage. But in terms of man's, of society, there's no end stage. And there's no perfect end stage. You'll notice that when it comes to our principles and governing system, we don't talk about an end stage. We talk about the here and now, right? We talk about improving life, improving the status of it. Yeah, but there's no end stage where all of a sudden everybody's this or everybody's that. Well, in any event, I thought this little lecture was very, very important. I hope it has caused your creative juices, your intrigue, to be sharpened. I'm going to spend a lot more time on this in the weeks and months ahead. It's called On Power. You can get it from Amazon.com, and it addresses so much of what's going on in this country. Basically, my discussion of principles, belief systems, history, all pulled into one and then applied to events that are taking place, and you'll be able to apply them to future events. That's why this book and other books I write have lasting power.
For all this and much more, sign up for Levin TV.